Check 1, 2. All right. What's up, cool kids? How's it going? Good to see everybody. Sorry I had to bail on Thursday's session. I had really bad and long work day. So, had to just do some self-care and relax and chill and all that. So, we're okay now, though. Except for the fact that I have, like, a little bit of a cold. Because we had snow last night and this morning. And now it's like 50 degrees and sunny. And the back and forth with the weather kind of fucks with me. So, just playing a little bit on some PSK 31. Seems to be a few people on. Let me try to fix the exposure on that a little bit. Way better. What's up, Radar? How's it going? We chilling today. I'm just drinking tea. Sorry, no beer cracks. That's cool. A little bit of rag chew chit chat on the local repeater. Let me bring them up. See what they're chatting about.
The sun is over some clouds, and underneath they're dark and ugly, and on top they're fluffy and white. Pretty nice looking bunch of clouds over here.
Just throw out some CQs, see if anybody wants to chat. Oh, here's one. Oh, that's him, yeah. Oh, let me tune the radio up. Yeah, weather is weird. It's getting weirder every year or two.
Seems to me we had an early freeze this last fall, too. If I remember, sometime in September, because I had to indoor my tomato plants because they hadn't finished ripening yet, and we had to pull them in early. But I can't remember what date that was. It seems to me it was early September, but I can't remember.
KD0MKZ to be with the timer. Yeah, that could be. I don't.
Got a fiddle with my mixer here. Hang on. Oh, that's why. I was like, why am I getting blasted in my headphones?
The only thing I can remember to do is eat, and then I can't remember what I ate.
Yes, indeed.
Ugh, that's disgusting. I've heard of that, though. I've heard it, like, being pink, too, because of some kind of weird bacteria or something. I don't know. It's like red tide, but for snow. It's some freaky shit. Gross. It would help if I actually sent some audio to the radio, huh?
So I'm going to bid you farewell for now and going and say hi to my mom's little
I switched
dog.
up mixer channels on a couple things, so I'm still finalizing the settings.
I'll bid you farewell, and we'll talk to you down the log. KD0MKZ.
Sounds good, Steve. 73 to you. K0RJW.
Let me set my power properly here. Let's do the full bore blast. Just about dead on. Awesome. The little bottom right thing here is the audio output level. So, in theory, since this whole system is linear, like 3 dB more audio means 3 dB more RF. I can set it to where the radio's at max power at 0 dB, and then we just bring this little control down to control our output power. So this should be right around, yeah, 30 watts or so. Perfect. Made some good progress on the rotator controller this week. So I was having problems because any RF through the antennas up on the mast was just causing this thing to lock up. And so I experimented and ran the, like I had just a 50-footer of Cat 5 unshielded going to it. We tried running that through some ferrite cores, and it was acting better. It still wasn't perfect, like still like full power, like 100 watts on 2 meters or 6 meters, or 25 watts on 70 centimeters was still causing it to lock up and freeze up, and I had to like go back and unplug and replug the USB cable to it. So I ordered a 100-foot, one of the few times I've actually found it useful, 100-foot shielded twisted pair. It wasn't too bad. It was like $25 or so. And ordered that, hooked it up, and got a 10-pack of ferrite beads. These little snap-on cores. So they open up and there's little catches on them. And you just put them over your cable and then snap them on, and they choke RF. So I've got 3 or 4 of those on the cable. So how it's set up is I have the 100-footer going all the way from the sensor up there, and it stops right at my feed-through panel there, because that thing's a piece of steel that's grounded. And then I grounded the shield of the Cat 5 that's outside to that. So in theory, all the RF on the outside of the cable stops there. And then I just have a little coupler and then just a 10-footer regular Cat 5 coming in, because there's no RF in the shack. That's not the problem. The problem was the RF up there on the pole that was coming all the way down through the Cat 5 and making my little, like the Arduino or some part of the mechanism down here freak out and lock up. It just didn't like large amounts of RF coming in, so it seems to be just fine now. Like I can shit out 100 watts continuously on anything, and the controller keeps working. So I think I've achieved my goal. I was really worried that I'd have to like switch sensor types, because you gotta have good position sensing, and it has to be able to take transmit RF, because when you're working a satellite, it very well may be trying to track while you're transmitting. And, so if that's messed up and it, can't work in real time, you're going to lose the satellite and not make contacts. So I was like, I can use like rotary encoders or position pots or some shit like that. There's various ways, but all those require like gears and mechanisms. Like you have to read the position of the, like the rotation in two different axes there. And it's kind of a pain in the ass to just build all the mechanicals up. So I'm really happy that I was able to get the sensor working, because that's the easiest way. One tiny little circuit board up there in a weatherproof box, and it shows me both the heading and the elevation. So pretty happy with what I've got set up so far. It seems to be playing pretty nicely. See if I can get both sides of this, tune in a little bit. Yeah, they stopped talking. I'll put my radio back on scan. The old ICOM 746. My lamp is right there, so it's hard to see, but just scanning repeaters. That's the cable that we made up last week for the audio feed. Yeah, he's just calling him. I'm gonna go down here and keep shitting it out a little bit, see if I can get anybody. Do a timer. Just let it run for a while every 30 seconds. What other fun stuff? Still haven't got my ICOM 9700. I guess they haven't gotten the second shipment of them. It's okay, I guess. I really want it though. Everybody's posting on Reddit and on Twitter, look at my new radio, look at my new radio. I guess I'm just at the end of the list, which kind of sucks, but whatevs. Let's see. What else has been going on in Mattyz Hamland? Not too much, really. It's been such a monster week at work that I haven't had much time to play radio or do anything. So I'm glad to be enjoying the weekend and kind of relaxing. It's Italy there. Hell yeah. I'm gonna click on this live on the stream. Better be safe for work. Oh, hell yeah. Nice. Very nice. That practical antenna handbook is really, really highly regarded. Good snags. Very nice. Part 97 on paper. Very cool. That's a good keyboard, too. Oh, I see the 8x8. I see your little LCD there. Or little LED. I see what you're up to. Very nice. Dang, I missed him. We'll go back again. Oh shit, I got the guy from Italy. Very cool. Oh, come back, come back. $50, wow. Oh, hell yeah. This is cool. Nice, nice contact. Wasn't surprised at him to come back. Hey, Ditcher, what's up, buddy? We're sitting around playing with some digital keyboard chat modes on 20 meters right now. I'm talking to a guy in Italy. Pretty good. Got a little bit of a cold or sinus crap because Denver went from snow to 50 degrees within like 8 hours, 12 hours. So I'm kind of wrestling with that. But we're hanging in there. I think he may have faded out. Dang. That would have been a good contact. We'll hang out here for a bit and see.
KE0JPZ mobile.
Using the little text thing. They actually wrote that in RF Just like figuring out the exact tones. There's a little screen you can do that on this.
Auto connection.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. We might check him out a little bit later on. Thanks. I gotta see if I can get some contacts in early because the sun will be going down pretty soon and this band will take a big dump. So, back to CQing. Guess we lost the guy from Italy. So sad. Getting the hang of the 7300 here pretty well. It's a pretty good radio. I like it. Couple of quirks, but it's an excellent performer. Yeah, I'm only so swift with it because I've owned ICOM radios for 20 years. So I know, like, for example, the preamp attenuator button has two functions. That's normal. You hit the preamp, goes back to off. But if you hold it down, it turns on the 20 dB attenuator. Just all the little quirks like that. The ICOM nature, as it were. But yeah, just like navigating the different menus and stuff like that.
Any word on whether they might activate the weather net tonight? It's coming down pretty good. And Constitution.
Oh, that's Pikes Peak repeater. That's 65 miles to the south. Let's see if I can tweak my filters and get him a little bit better. He's a little weak.
Okay, could you creep up on your microphone just a little bit? The audio's kind of low. Roger, this is a different radio. That sound any better? Way better. We can both hear you in the car. We're westbound on Constitution. Went down to see Billy's wife today. She wasn't there, but we dropped off some more money from sales. Picked up just about the rest of Billy's stuff. There's about 5 poles down there I can't get in the Kia, so all we got to do is pick that up, and we'll have satisfied her requirements for the ham. So good. And
Got a little contact here, I think.
been a rough week. Yeah, Billy and Tom on the same day, and I had a friend from the synagogue that I took down and put on a bus. He never arrived at his destination.
Eek.
Oh, man. Yeah, but little by little things are getting done. We just can't find William. We don't know where he is. The bank wouldn't give me any information if he used his bank card or not, so I'm going to have to advise the family to contact the PD here in the Springs and see if they can get information from the bank.
That's no good. Hope he's okay.
Understand. Well, you know, it's you never know. You know, these days, if there's
His license is 3 years older than I am.
for wanting to know things like that. I had
Yowza.
same kind of happened with the HIPAA for friends at one time. He wanted me to try to get it, you know, tell hospital he was coming in.
Nice. Sounds like I'm banging into
Bottom line is that
into Florida here. Pretty good copy on this guy.
seems like anytime somebody makes a decision, they make
88 degrees? What? You jerk. Wow.
some issues too, so they don't know why, but somehow he may have gotten a ticket to a different state than where he was going. All we can do is just pray and do anything the family suggests, so I'll give them a call later on. Don't want to tie it up, maybe somebody else is going to need it. Just crossing powers. K4ERM, double to V17. My friend will take care. And no, we haven't. I've gotten, looks like here, it's coming down pretty good. I've gotten about an inch so far out of it this afternoon. But it is sticking to the black top out there, so hope everybody's being careful. Yeah, so far none of the snow is sticking to the road. It's melting off, but it's picking it up on the grass and stuff. I guess maybe an inch at the most so far, but it's coming down pretty doggone good. Sid, you take care, buddy. Stay warm. K4ARM, double to V17. Roger, you do the same.
Not sure what that was in chat. Anyways.
K4ARM, KC0LGX. KC0LGX, go ahead. Yeah, Sid, I just would give you a report.
This repeater that we're listening to is on top of Cheyenne Mountain, which is that's the mountain of like NORAD and War Games fame. It has really, really good coverage.
Sure, well, thank you very much. Yeah, like I said, up here at my location up on Northgate, it is sticking to asphalt on a driveway, but
What the hell? Yeah, it's like 45 degrees here, and down there, just an hour south, it's snow and sticking.
we've got visibility, at least visibility of a quarter of a mile, thereabouts.
Ooh, he's got a nice radio.
Not blowing or anything of that nature. It's coming straight down, so we'll hopefully just get some good moisture out of it.
Yes. These radios are so good. I would so buy one.
No, absolutely. We can use all the moisture.
He's got a nice station. I dig it. Yeah, the FT1000MP is freaking amazing. You can pick any filter with any mode. Has dual receivers. Classic mid-90s radio. They go for about, I don't know, $700-800 these days. Totally worth it. Really, really good radios.
We'll see you later on. KC0LGX, K4ARM.
I like the working version, not the MFJ version. MFJ is a company that builds cheap ham gear, like antennas, accessories, all the stuff besides the radio that you need for your shack. And they have horrible QC. Cushcraft is an antenna company. It's been around, I don't know, 50 or 60 years. They got bought by MFJ a while back, and the quality went downhill. Wow, this dude has a really, really good setup. Kind of jealous.
trouble over there today?
Well, I think so. How about you?
I doubt it. I'm sure something will find me.
I hear you. Boy, I'm just sitting here watching the snow come down. It is really, really a beautiful sight out here. Looks like something that belongs on a Christmas tape or something like that. Great big old flakes and coming straight down. Not a doggone breath of air moving, it looks like.
Yeah, off and on I got the same thing. The heavy wet stuff, which is good. But we're just sitting here. The telephone guy's out there working on the telephone equipment, and he's entertaining the dog.
I can imagine. Oh, golly. You got problems with it, or is it just something that, looks like, what's the word I'm looking for? Routine. That's the word I was looking for.
I don't know.
I like just some laid back chit chat.
3, 4, 5, 6 telephone boxes out there. They got DSL and regular twisted pair and the video on it, TV on it. So who knows what they're troubleshooting? He's had it open for about an hour, so he's not staking down new phone lines.
Okie dokie. Yeah, well, hopefully it's not going to be too bad a problem for somebody out there.
Yeah, this guy's got an antenna called a hex beam.
Well, what was it? One of the earlier storms.
They're kind of a newer design. They're the ugliest damn things. So it's like fiberglass, like things under tension, and then all these wires going between it are basically elements, and it acts like a 2-element beam, basically. You can rotate it and stuff. But there's a lot of shit going on here.
A little dicey. I'm glad I didn't have to have the radar that day.
Nice little chit chat with John here. Very good.
I leave a pause there. I thought I heard somebody trying to get in. I don't know. I feel sorry for the guys got to work out there in this, in the snow, but that's what they pay him the big bucks for. He's young enough to do it, so I'm envious about that.
Wow.
Yes, sir. I know what you
He
mean.
operates a lot.
Yeah.
19,417. That's pretty cool.
Who were part of the what's the word I'm looking for? Public utilities type endeavors. Got to put up some very, very interesting. Got to put up with some very interesting weather situations off and on. It just. Well, let's put it this way: unless you've been out there in it, you don't really, you don't have any really great appreciation for it. K4ARM.
Phone call from a 415 area code, which is my cell phone area code. I guarantee you it's one of those "you've won a Marriott trip" scam calls.
I never had anything to fix in this weather, but I had to, travel in it to get some fixes.
I was worried that it was ham radio outlet saying my radio showed up.
To go fix somebody's computer so they could pay their employees. Things always seem to break at the worst possible time. I think there's a little circuit in there. It's called a crisis detector, and the more you need the machine, the quicker it's going to break.
Nice.
Yeah.
Log that one and go. Oh, he did the little 73 thing. Hell yeah.
What's the word? There's a wonderful word that comes in there where it's perceived that you need it, but you really don't.
Yeah, I very rarely give my work phone number out, so I can guarantee that I'm just on a list, basically. And it always comes from numbers relatively close to mine. They're doing that thing where they're faking, the caller ID, which is really easy these days. But, yeah, I don't answer that shit. If you're not in my phone book, I'm not picking up. And yes, ham radio outlet is in my phone book.
make it easier for somebody to play games or something.
Cool.
Well,
Not too many other signals on. I'm gonna
worked on that stuff.
I'm gonna spin through.
And I had one guy ask me once about what I thought about using this processor
It's,
versus that processor.
you can see there's pretty low lag.
I don't know. I really can't tell you. You know, this is
Sometimes it misses one, but usually the control is pretty good.
I can't tell you because I've been working on these things for 15 years. And
There's all the FT8 guys. I don't care about this stuff here.
I've never gotten to tinker with one that works because as soon as I fix it, you want it back.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, golly. Yep. You stop and,
Yeah, last year, not last year, this year, just a couple months ago, that polar vortex, whatever the hell it was, that was really harsh on the antennas. And that was on a Wednesday, thank God, because I wouldn't have been able to stream anyways.
The only time I ever see is when I'm sick. But yeah, that was kind of a wake up for me.
But yeah, I had to take some of my antennas down. Nothing broke, fortunately, except for like one element of this like shitty old scanner antenna that I have that I don't even really use. So I didn't worry too much about it.
Sometimes, you know, I mean, it's a waggish way of looking at things, but yeah, that's very, very true. I'm sitting here looking at.
I forget I have an ICOM 7300 and we can just look at the frickin' spectrum.
Sitting in the pine tree, just still as can be, and the snow is coming down, and that is one unhappy looking bird, you know, but he or she is not moving at all. They're just sitting there waiting.
Heard some weird ticking. It was just my furnace turning off, which is like, that's my furnace for this place. And it just turned off, so it's doing the little cool down tick thing. Alright, so those are just power supply spurs. Let's see. Let's just look at the whole band.
Got some chicken in there brining. Gonna do up a flat of chicken, and I'll have protein in the refrigerator for the next week or so.
Sounds pretty good. Sounds really good. How'd your bacon stuff turn out? I know you said you were gonna be doing some curing.
Oh, this guy's making bacon. We were just talking about making bacon.
That's gonna take a couple days.
It's hard to make that not like turn into a shitty wrap. We were just talking about
after that, just hang them up, let them dry a little bit.
curing your own bacon in another chat. We determined that the big make or break thing is if you can slice it consistently and thinly enough. I think you basically need like, you know, one of those powered meat slicers like I used to use back in the deli. Something like that. Be nice to kind of do your own seasoning though, stuff like that. I like that black pepper bacon, but it gives me some heartburn because I'm old. But it's so good.
The depth thing, turned to zero so that I don't get exposed to that edge. And then there's only one part up at the top when you take the
I'm gonna just
off that you're exposed to any blade.
I'm gonna go up to 071.
Overall,
I'm gonna use old Thor multi-frequency.
It's a nice machine. Works good.
A little bit wider bandwidth.
I don't know where it is now.
See if we can raise anybody with this one. Actually, let's crank filters down. So that's like a 500 hertz filter. That's a 300 hertz filter. Centered right on 1500 hertz. It's the beauty of the whole DSP SDR thing is they can just write filters in software. Really nice. But the waterfall on the radio itself is not filtered, so you can still see everything. Like, I'm still looking at the entire 20 meter ham band on the radio, but my actual communication program only hears this little narrow strip. I mean, it sounds like that, basically. Very narrow band. But that lets me pick out much fainter signals. So, let's fire off some CQs here and see if anybody else wants to chat on this mode. That little preamble that it fired off here at first in theory, that'll tune anybody else's copy of the software to line up and switch modes. So it'd be nice to see if we can get some people on there. I like Thor a lot. It's pretty reliable. It's fast. It's a little bit faster chatting than PSK 31, which is what we were using just a minute or so ago. So we'll just crank it out a little bit here for a few minutes and see if anybody picks it up. Back off the power just a little bit. If I need more, I can always turn it up.
I know what you mean. I've got a, gosh, I don't even know what the heck brand it is anymore. I haven't used it in a while. But again, it's a home grade machine, but a good one.
It's kind of neat to watch the envelope dance on the transmit screen.
Got probably about, I'm thinking of maybe an 8-inch blade or a 10-inch blade. But boy, I'll tell you what, you want to be definitely careful when you're using that rascal, because it'll cut you just as bad as a Hobart will. And it is sharp. Ooh, let me tell you, it is sharp.
There's somebody barely in there.
Gosh, it's a lot of fun to use the darn thing. Dad used to use it to make what he called shadow steaks, which were basically Philly cheese steaks without cheese. And I asked him one time why he didn't put the cheese in there. He says, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, you know, you're making basically a Philly cheesesteak." He said, "Well," and the recipe came from Philadelphia. Well, we figured out why he wasn't putting cheese on them. At the time that he cabbaged onto the recipe, the guy wasn't putting cheese on this thing.
Yeah, not quite enough signal to get this dude.
Ever good.
Nope.
We lived in Camden at that time. Back
There we
when
go.
I was, I guess, about 3 years old. And lo and behold, that's where he got the recipe.
I don't know. I like it. The reason I got it is I got tired of slicing it by hand and getting irregularly thick slices. So this way I can make nice thick chunks of bacon.
Oh, they're gonna keep talking about bacon. I'm gonna get hungry.
Between a quarter inch and an eighth of an inch. I guess was that 5/32, something like that. But anyway. Quarter inch is probably
After I buy new cameras
8 inches.
up there and down front,
Paper thin as far as I'm concerned with bacon.
I'm gonna take these cameras, install them in my kitchen,
I know what you mean.
and then on nights where it's not radio Mattyzcast, we're gonna do just cooking dinner Mattyzcast. Because I love cooking. It's so fun. And it also feeds you, which is great. So I think it might be fun just to put a lapel mic on and just kind of BS while I make stew or whatever. There we go. Now he's coming in.
In the freezer and just get it crystallized, and then take it out there and put it on that Hobart and just sit there and chop it, run it back and forth until his arm felt like it was going to fall off.
See, now I can turn the power up now.
The stuff that was partially frozen as he could, put that back into into whatever he was going to preserve it with, whether it was in individual servings, that he would just reach in and grab one of them and throw it on the grill or whatever, or large packages, and then put what was left of the round back in the freezer for a few minutes and crystallize some more, and then he just shaved the heck out of it. It was a lot of work, but boy, I tell you, it came out like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it was without a doubt one of the best sandwiches in the whole wide world. And when it was cooking, it was like you see these jokes every now and then where there's a wafting of some sort of a wonderful smell going out and grabbing people by the nose and jerking them into the restaurant or whatever it happened to be. That's the way this thing worked out. He could smell it up and down the block. Man, people would come in. All right, give me a sandwich.
I like these old fellas.
I know how that works.
There's some quality chit chat here.
Well,
The thing is, I don't think you want to shave bacon. I do, when I make pastrami, I do the same thing. You know, I'll chill it down real hard where it sets. And,
Oh, pastrami's so good.
you know, shave it real paper thin. But you don't want to do that with bacon because, you know, beef's one thing. You get it on the grill, you want it to cook all the way. And bacon's a whole different breed of cat. You know, you get it paper thin like that, it'll curl up and go to charcoal in a heartbeat. And on another topic, I'm sitting here and looking out and watching this guy work, and he must
Not quite enough to pull this dude out.
$1,000 worth of test equipment sitting out there in the snow. That's kind of frightening.
Yes, sir. I know what you mean. And by the way, I don't know what it was, but a flight of about 3 or 4 birds went by, and that towhee disappeared. So evidently it was like he was waiting for the streetcar, and it just came by, and so he joined the group, and off they went.
Windows 7 vintage beats.
Could be. They do run in gaggles, so you know, it's like you ever watch the robins work on the ground. They do that. One goes hop, hop, hop.
All these old bastards. It's 80 degrees out. Go play outside. What are you doing on the radio?
So they always got one person looking at the dirt and one person looking
There
at
we go. Now I'm making it through. Better. Still having problems receiving him, though.
They're kind of fun to watch, but those things, when they're nesting, you ever notice the placement of the bluebird nesting boxes? They are extremely territorial, and those boxes have to be, you know...
Go ahead and say bye to this guy, because he's not really coming in all that well.
Kind of like the hummingbirds. They're hilarious to watch. See, they're about another 2 weeks, if not less than that, they should be back. Looking in the windows saying, where's the food? Where's the food? Where's the food? You know, they're like the squirrels sitting on the windowsill, like, the bird feeder's empty. Spring's coming. My critters are coming back. But, yeah, hard to say where the towhees go. They're a seed eater anyway, but I had a friend of mine told me once, they went in the army, she was, they called them twidgets, you know, they were electronics types. But in basic infantry, she said they mimic the robin and how they form a line, and one troop advances while the other watches, and then the other one advances.
Just listen to these old dudes too.
They said that was derived by watching the birds do it.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, people that depend on getting from here to there and staying alive and getting there to do something that they have to do, paid an awful lot of attention to nature, which is probably a pretty good thing. But yeah, very, very true. Yeah, the hummers are a lot of fun. Love to watch those rascals, and it's fun to watch the broadtails and the ruby throats and all this kind of stuff. But what is really a joy is watching one lousy little old Rufus come in there and rule the whole roost. It's amazing.
Yeah, they are. They're really cool. I've tried to attract him here, but man, this last year was horrible for birds. In 2017, I threw one feeder up, and I would have like a half dozen to a dozen birds come hang out every single day, all day. Like they were constantly flying around and snacking and squabbling and all that. Last year, I saw birds maybe twice. Year before last, I had to refill the feeder probably every other week. You know, it's just one of those kind of tube feeders with perches on the side. Probably about the diameter of the solo cup and a foot tall. I used to have to refill it every other week. Last year, I only refilled it once. Birds just didn't show up last year. It was kind of disappointing. I hope they're okay. But I'd love to try to get hummingbirds around here. I don't even know if we really have many of them.
It was on the small cassettes. I think they're 1/4 inch tape or something. I just don't remember now. Still got a bunch of the
States. I've got to...
Lol, that's great.
But bottom line, we just set the thing up on a...
Oh, speaking of big red
tripod up
things,
there,
pan the
and at
camera
that
up.
time we had, gosh, I don't know. I'm not going to say conservatively, probably
Let's do
25
this.
or 30 hummingbirds coming around.
Yeah.
Had 4 or 5
Look at these
beavers out
things.
there and a couple of rufous.
I'll do a I'll do a bic for scale here.
And you're right.
I bought a pair of giant D20s,
Deploy various tactics.
and I'm going to drill a 1/4-inch hole through them, then get about a foot of like 1/8-inch steel cable, run them through, and then crimp the ends. And I'm gonna have the world's first pair of D20 truck nuts on the back of the expedition. So I think it'll be fun.
Good pictures of them hummingbirds. I was tinkering with the old Canon 5D.
You reset that, go back to 1500. He was a little off frequency, but I followed him because of those little sync signals at the start. Yeah. I'm gonna open the filter up and see. Oh yeah. See if anybody's down on 070. What's up, Graf? Good to see you. How's things out there today? You got shit weather? We got shit weather. Whoops. Sorry about that. Good thing I have a limiter online.
What you're saying. Yeah, it's a shame when you gotta keep
Yeah. This is the Colorado Springs repeater that we're listening to. And they were just talking about how it's snowing down there. So just an hour south, we got snow. And up here, it's like sunny and like 47, but it's doing hell on my sinuses. So, I'm pretty peaked today, but I'm hanging in there. Just drinking tea, no boozing it up today. Speaking of which, need to make another cup here at the break.
Rascals came around and ran into the dining room window and went down. And she went out and got it, and we put it in a small box.
It's like, what's that red spot?
Like
It's a reflection of wire cutters.
And she kept checking notes if the thing was still alive or whatever, and it was, but it broke its beak.
Yeah, it's all gone here, but just the weather back and forth is just messing with me. I don't like it one bit. Also, I had like a monster of a week at work, so my health in general is just marginal right now. Good to see you, Tap. Let's see who this is.
But yeah, that was little broke beak, and he'd been inside the house, and she'd had him in her hand.
Little broke beak.
It was really quite a treat for her.
Really want to fire it up and make a broke beak mountain joke. I'm not even sure what it would be. I just have the urge.
One day I was sitting out there, just refilled the feeder, and was sitting on the railing, the post railing, and the little landing pads, they got those little plastic things that the birds come and stand on while they feed. They were all down. Because I guess you can do that. They set them up so that you can have them up for them to stand on, or you can put them down so they have to fly to eat.
Yeah, alright, I'm gonna shut this one down and switch programs, because this band seems to be fairly dead now. I think we caught the tail end of it. What I do want to play with, see if we can get our slow scan on. Fix that sizing a little bit. In real time. That's better.
What the heck happened, but it started breaking up, and by the end of that, you were totally gone. I don't know. Something sure got in the way.
Tune up here. Crank out a little slow scan, see if anybody's out there. wait for a minute and make sure nobody else is
You're
on.
doing okay, but I mean, it was as if your battery died or something. I mean, it was going along really well, then started getting really noisy, and then suddenly just nothing but the occasional scratch and hack and stuff, and that time you were fine.
Well, the battery didn't die. It's a 25 amp power supply, so anyway, I didn't hear a beep when I let go of it, so I knew something was wrong. What I was saying was that
It was kind of weird that dude just kind of asked out. Normally when you're in a fixed station, your signal level doesn't change much like that. Could have been an airplane. That happens here a lot. Your signal going like straight to the other station will get interfered with because you're also transmitting RF up, and if a plane's at the right spot, the far station will get 2 copies of your signal, and they'll be like phase canceled, so you'll basically just disappear into static. And that happens a lot here actually, because we have so many planes.
That one that Jackie got to handle was happy, and she was just ecstatic that she was able to do something. And
I think we're gonna fire some out here.
The big thing was watching it fly off.
How's it going, Burge?
Motion things, but it stayed around the house for the rest of the season, and that was, I think, probably might have been the 4th of July that happened. It was some sort of a holiday weekend or something, because we had a bunch of people here anyway. But got a friend I went to high school with. They go up to I want to say.
Thanks, Burge. I appreciate that.
I think is where they go.
Yeah, the plane thing, you can actually do it on purpose. You can, like, 2 stations, say they're like 10 miles apart and they can't see each other, but say there's like a flight path in between the 2, they can just both point antennas at a common spot in that flight path, and then as the plane flies through, it basically turns into a big mirror for your RF, and it'll reflect the signal from one to the other.
It's almost impossible to hurt one of the darn things. Probably do more damage with a fly swatter than you would anything else, and that would be strictly by luck. But this just they are absolutely astoundingly wonderful to watch, and to enjoy watching them fly around and cussing.
This dude really loves his birds. It's pretty wholesome. I'm down.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. They do not understand mirrors at all. But I'll tell you what, watching one of them go to war.
I mean, cats don't either, and we keep those as pets, right?
Whenever he barks, it barks, and he's just exactly the same size. So it's not going to be a fair fight here. It's not going to be a fight that can be won without damage. But boy, they'll cuss that other bird in the mirror like you wouldn't believe.
Not quite strong enough there. There's somebody that was trying to get something across.
We had a couple of feeders that we had hung close to.
Well, I mean, cats understand birds. Cats don't understand mirrors. I don't think. They definitely don't understand flat screen TVs and monitors.
Side to side, like, get out of my face, will you? They just couldn't quite figure that one out.
This dude's not quite strong enough.
They were really something. So we started hanging the feeders out more or less kind of in free space off of lines, as opposed to hanging off of the window, not a shade, but like an awning or something of that nature. They were a lot happier.
Yeah, well, I had a yellow lab that had never seen a mirror before in her life. I adopted her, and boy, I'll tell you.
I like the yard bird.
She went nuts on that dog in the mirror.
I like the duck bird. Duck is good. Ooh, I haven't had duck curry in a long time. I need to go get some duck soon. I'm all about duck curry.
Oh, look, that other dog laid down.
Peking duck. All of it.
Yeah, it's fun that kittens will do the same thing there. I don't know. It's just it's a lot of fun to watch.
Oh man, I bet they go nuts for that.
Then they get tired and come up and sit in your lap or something like that.
sleep. And
Oh shit, yeah.
you know, that's payment
Yeah, that's cat bait right there, straight up. You can't not expect them to go nuts for that.
Yep, that's true. That's so true, kitty kitty cute. Anyway, I suppose I should go churn my chicken thighs and get the dredge and all the rest of that ready. And
I made some nice chicken thighs just the other night. They were good. My trick is that I get bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs. You know, the cheapest ones, basically. But, everybody always tries to, like, cook them with the skin on, get the skin crispy and stuff like that. And I don't think it works right. So what I do is I just, you know, take a sharp knife and I trim the skin off of the thighs. But I save it. And then I cut that little hunk of fat off of the side of the thigh, too. And then I just, like, render that down in a pan on low for, like, 20 minutes. Basically, like, cooking bacon, really. And, it gets all of the, like, nice, clear chicken fat out of there. And then you pull the skin out, set it aside after it's all crispy and stuff, because that means you gotten all the fat out. And then you throw the chicken thighs with no skin on in there. And they cook up so well. It's perfect every time. The bonus is that you get little crispy chicken skin snacks while you're doing the rest of the meal, too. So, chicken techniques here on the Zcast. It's really good, and I think it's probably a little bit healthier, assuming that you don't actually eat the chicken skin after you cook it. But I'm a big fan of, like, separately getting all that fat out of the skin, and then cooking your chicken in that. Seems to come out much cleaner. You don't have any weird, like, you know, like overcooked or undercooked spots on the skin, because the skin and the meat is going to cook at vastly different speeds. So I'm not even trying that anymore. I separate it out and then use it for the grease. It's quite good.
It's an SR-71. Well, let's see, I'm talking into it straight.
Oh, here's one.
I'll do it on broadcaster by tonight. I don't
Making booze. Ooh, what kind of booze you making?
You know, actually, the last couple times it sounds like it's clicking in and out, kind of like a little bit of water might be dripping down in the coax connection. How windy are you over there?
Wow, another repeater was bleeding over there.
Anyway, well, if that's the case,
Oh, nice, good.
dead carrier should fade too.
I had a barley wine the other night. It did me in. Nice and strong.
But I'll tinker with it tonight. Like I say, I don't want to tie things up.
Yeah, your signal sucks too, buddy. I don't even know who you're talking to.
On one of the satellite dishes, but it came and went, and I'm looking over here at we've got almost no wind right now, and the snow is turned very, very fine. So you know, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Boy, I tell you what, it was definitely breaking up.
The pot's still right next to my tobacco pipe. Yeah, I feel you, bro.
Some stuff done, so you had fun and all that, and thanks for the chat. And, yeah, man, those
Are you just spamming, dude?
Oh boy.
This is the dude that, like, gets pissed off that nobody will talk to him. And he's like, band is dead. I'm sending 1,000 watts. Nobody wants to talk to me. It's like, maybe if you weren't a dick, then people would want to have contacts with you. I prefer not to contact him. I should. Yes, it is Scotty too. You are correct. Are you just testing? You can't just one-way transmit. You have to call for a contact. You can't just shit out pictures without being in a contact. Or any, like, intention of making a contact with somebody else. We can't do one-way broadcasting. Like, it drives me nuts when people say, how do I broadcast on a ham radio? Answer, you don't. You communicate with it. broadcasting implies a receive-only, kind of arbitrary audience. You know, you don't care who listens, but whoever is out there, they can listen, and you're, you know, like, here's your content and so on. So yeah, we don't broadcast. There are certain one-way transmissions in the hobby. Basically the rule is that it has to be pertinent to ham radio. So like, it's not allowed to like do a one-way broadcast of like today's like CNN headlines, for example. It is legal to transmit, say, a one-way broadcast of today's like ionospheric conditions, because that deals with like shortwave propagation, or even weather maps are probably okay. Stuff like that. The ARRL does one-way transmissions of Morse code practice, which has been done for like 60 years, 70 years. That's fine, because it's pertinent to the hobby, you know, it's on track. But you can't just use this for your free broadcasting service. First of all, nobody that you're going to want to reach is probably listening. Like, you can't just get on here and start blasting music. Like, I can pump Spotify through any of these radios with a twist of a knob, but even if, you know, I wanted to risk my license, who the hell is going to, like, listen to me for the, like, purpose of, like, getting sick tunes on their ham radio? You know what I mean? That's pretty fucked up. I wonder if that was like some geek at the station, like testing or something like that. Because I know that some shortwave broadcasters have done slow scan TV. Obviously, we had that sesh a couple weeks ago with Harp. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. SSTV over FM is really good. Like, I can get on the 2-meter radio, and I would just like be able to get really high quality photos over with very minimal noise. It's way lower noise than like anything down here in the shortwave bands, and you don't get any fading, stuff like that. Gotcha. Those little $40 from China. I'd really love to do a Part 15 FM station, but the problem is that for like the past like 30 years, the only manufacturer that made a radio that was Part 15 compliant. Basically, Part 15 is the part of the FCC rules that just govern just like things that shit out a small arbitrary amount of RF. You don't need a license for them. If you interfere with any licensed service with a Part 15 transmitter, you have to shut down. It's on you to play nicely. But Part 15 FM broadcast is definitely a thing. And for years and years and years and years, there was the Ramsey FM 10. I think it is. Yeah. Bring my monitor up here. Yeah, this little guy. You could buy this from Ramsey. Has an antenna jack, audio in, and you tune it with a little frequency pot in there. And this is what hundreds and hundreds of people ran their super flea-powered FM stations on. With a good antenna, you can get probably a quarter to a half a mile with this, and it's legal. You can't get shut down by the FCC for it. Unfortunately, Ramsey went out of business a couple years ago. So these are really, really hard to find. Nobody else makes a affordable, because these are like $39 back in the 90s. Nobody makes an affordable, legal Part 15 compliant FM transmitter anymore, and it sucks. Like, let's take a look at the trash that eBay has here, and you can tell what I look for on eBay, right? Let's look at the things that you should definitely not buy. Things like this, the little cigarette lighter things, not much range. They're kind of meant just to be in your car. But you go down, price up a little bit. Oh god, there's so much shit from China. Let's just do 20 and up. All these are just freaking car transmitters, basically. Tell you what we can do. North America only. Yeah, I know. That's pretty horrible, actually. Oh my god. So many of these things. They're just hideous. I hate all these things. Here. Let's see what's 50 and up. These things just marked up and overpriced. Oh my god. See, here's one. These are nice. This was the FM10, except instead of just having a little trim pot inside, it actually had dip switches to set your transmit frequency. I would probably pay $50 for this. Yes, that's not too bad. That's interesting. Let's take a look. Let's see if they're in there. Okay. And I actually think that were I to do this, I might even go mono. It's going to carry so much further. You're not trying to do like a 200 kilohertz wide signal and all that with the stereo subcarrier and everything. Yeah, okay.
K4AIM, this is KE0GBT.
Colorado Springs is pretty lit today.
4ARM, go ahead.
This is pretty nice.
I just wanted to ask, did you glue the beak back on the bird?
I'm glad we got that.
It was off and we couldn't find it. So we did not glue it back on. So it was actually kind of, well...
No, she asked if they glued, like with adhesive, back on the bird. Follow up to that story about the bird flying into the window.
They grow back?
Oh, I got a good story about that, Decay. So I used to hang out with this gang of simplex operators here in town, just on the air pretty much. I met up with them a couple times. This woman started checking into the net. Like Kathy, I think her name was, something like that. And she was very nice. She was a new ham. And the first tip-off was that she said that she owned a warehouse that she was putting her ham station in. And I was like, okay, all right. I kind of see what Kathy's about. And she checked into the net one week and was like, hey, I was wondering if anybody could help me out getting this antenna installed and getting my radio set up and all that. And old hams, being old, thirsty, super thirsty hams, like there was like a 6-way double. Everybody keyed up at the same time. Oh yes, yes ma'am, I will be happy to come over and do all the work for you and get everything done. And I wasn't there for the actual install, but somebody was talking about it later and laughing about it. Because about 3 or 4 of these hams got together. All right, let's go help Kathy get her station set up. Maybe get a phone number right. And they go over to Kathy's warehouse. And they're greeted by basically, this very muscular, large Marge, basically. Very lesbian woman. She's like, howdy boys, I'm Kathy. Thanks for putting up my antenna for me. And she goes over and cracks a fucking Bud Light or something and just sits back, and they, of course, they're bound to it at this point. They couldn't like get pissy and walk off, but they got had so severely. It was a wonderful experience. So big ups to Kathy for like working those men. There's a few really funny moments. Yeah, isn't that good?
Well, I'll see if it's an electronic, so maybe I can get it offloaded onto the computer here sometime in the next day or so, and
Cool.
send it
Well,
to you.
I'm interested in these transmitters here.
Hang on just a minute. Get
Wouldn't that be fun to do a little simulcast? Like that would be another fun thing. Is like because I've wanted to do like a live community radio thing, maybe like 2 nights a week. And like I don't think you need any like RAA rights or anything for this or any licensing, because you're not a market, you're not a licensed station. You know what I mean? So I've thought about setting up a Part 15 station because of course I could do the install very well and get the max possible range out of one of those little fleet powered transmitters. I've thought about just like going like 2 nights a week, 4 hours a night, like a mix of like like pre-recorded material and some music and then some commentary. I mean, I could tie in Skype or a like a phone line or something like that, have a little call-in show. Basically this, but more along the lines of like socialist speeches and good music and a little bit of call-in chit-chat for my neighborhood. But I mean, I already have all the gear except for the transmitter, obviously. So I've thought about playing around with that a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. Now that I'm getting a little bit of my public speaking and DJ chops back.
4570@gmail.com.
Wow. You're a big ass gun nut when you have 4570 in your Gmail address.
It's really, it's a long one, kind of like mine. I'm Sid at integratedSolutions.org, and it's a long. It seems like it takes you 5 minutes to type it in. But yeah,
I don't know if it's that bad, buddy.
Very indicative. You say you got a what with that? 8080Q.
Yeah, I've thought about that too.
Real quick.
Or yeah.
Tell her you will understand that email.
I'm not sure exactly what the Part 15 FM.
Right now, when anybody says 4570, my interest picks up real quick because I fired 1 or 2 of those things.
Great, they got a supplier list. Oh, that's right. I've talked to the guy that runs this, hobbybroadcaster.net. For some reason, I'm literally 403'd by this asshole. And it's because he doesn't want people stealing his content. So he has a whitelist set up on his website, and you have to contact him to be able to make a fucking TCP connection. Really? How'd you get on there? Because I've been blocked, and like, I tried to ask, and he's like, well, you must be on some like open proxy or a spam filter or something. And I was like, no, I'm just on an Xfinity cable modem. And then like he wanted me to like send a copy of my ID over and stuff like that, and I just basically noped out of it. I was like, no, dude, you're trying to run some shit here. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not gonna be part of this. Here we go, Part 15. That's very possible too.
Well, I was thinking of getting a few people if they wanted to come over and having a picnic over at our place.
Oh, by golly,
Carrier current is really neat too. For AM radio, you basically squirt RF back up the power line, and the overhead power lines become your antenna. But they're a little more regulated, I think.
Absolutely.
Oh
And,
yeah, I can see
I'm in Falcon.
my sick tweets getting engagement there.
From Dick. Hi, Dick. And that was a buffalo that I got the 4570 with.
wow.
Damn, she shot a buffalo. That's pretty wild. I didn't know we were still hunting them. I thought we were kind of easing up on the buffalo there, but okay. All right. Have to run 100 watts minimum. iHeartRadio is gonna just crawl up your ass and yeah. Interesting.
to think of
I guess those are all, yeah, managed herds or whatever.
going out and hunting those things with bows and arrows.
I guess that makes sense. Alright, that tea wants to escape my gut, so I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break and make some more tea, because I need lots of tea today for my head. My poor stuffy head. So we're going to take a quick break here on the Zcast. Everybody hang tight. I'll keep the Buffalo Slaughterer on here for a little chit-chat in the background. So everybody hang tight. I'll be back in a few here on the Zcast.
Yeah, we've got the oh darn it, Pavilion number 1. That's Fox Run Park on the 7th of September for the Colorado Amateur Radio WeatherNet picnic. Some of you guys want to just happen to wander over there, sometime between the hours of the beginning of the day and the end of the day. Come on over. There's lots of food and usually plenty of people to chat with, and gosh, it'd be kind of fun to have you come over. Can't never tell. Maybe we'll get a couple more members for the net.
Ask her about a W.
W? Your record, Kathy.
Well, I'm a very cheap drunk, and Dick gave me a drink, and I couldn't say W.
Aha, there you go.
Yeah, she was spelling her name after 2 Black Russians. And it's Wildman. It's W, spelled with a W. And I'm never going to let her forget it.
That sounds pretty good. Oh, boy. Black Russians. Kahlua and what's that clear stuff called? Vodka?
You guys are cracking me up.
Yeah, that's vodka, spelled with a W.
Two Pete's Watsku, ye people.
Yeah, I got to get back to what I was doing, but I'll pass one other thing on that I have fun with is when people ask me what kind of music I like, I tell them C&W. Say, oh, country and westerns? Nope, Chopin and Wagner.
Good man, good man. Oh boy, yeah. I could go the same way. If it was written before 1730, I probably will like it quite a bit.
Okay, I'm going back in the kitchen before everything goes to heck out there. Catch you later, Katie80Q. Good hearing from you, Calf. We'll see you one of these days. Katie80Q clear, QSY to the kitchen.
Nice talking to you too, Dick. KE0GBT clear.
Hey, Kathy, great chatting with you as well. And a deer put in a very brief appearance out there for a moment, but I didn't get a chance to put any lens on her. But oh gosh, it's really something to sit here and watch what's left of the game population that used to be. Oh my God, we had foxes and everything that you could imagine over here. Now mostly it's just houses, but yeah, those 8 robins were beautiful, and that deer was headed for parts unknown only to her, and so she's out of my field of view now. But yeah, it was really a fun afternoon sitting here talking with everybody and watching the game go by.
Oh boy, what I miss.
Anyway, take care. 73 all. Cape Warrior, and back down to what I was doing as well.
This is Kathy, KE0GBT clear.
That's not the Kathy we were talking about earlier, obviously.
Part of that particular equation.
So I remembered I bought a 6-pack of tiny Canada Dry ginger ales Maybe that'll help a little bit.
Have at it.
Oh, nice.
Sorry about that, Dick. Say again.
I say she can talk to your.
There we go. Now it's a Zcast.
She's a good cook, so 'cause I've ate her food.
Wonderful.
We were in the middle of the woods.
So yeah, low power FM. I'd love to do it. I'd love to actually do a real low power FM station. You know, like 100 watts and get an engineering permit and all that. But man, the FCC sucks right now. For some reason, I think it's this guy at the top, some pie dude or something like that.
Like that. Kathy, thank you very much. That was a delicious hunk of
Oh, great.
gourd that I had there for a while. It was.
Sounds like a trad wife to me.
Anyway, guys, I got to get going here too before I get too much snow in the house. Anyway, 73 K4 area.
Oh my gosh.
23 to all of you. You guys make ham radio enjoyable. Katie's or IKH monitoring.
Oh, okay.
That was not
So he's looking for the trad wife.
By the way, for the 7th of September. We typically have 35 to 40 people over there. There's food enough about 150, I think. But seriously, if any of you guys happen to be in the neighborhood and sneak over by Pavilion 1,
Man, he's just hungry. He's not even trying to talk to anybody. He's just spamming
accommodate
KQ4ZH. What a dick.
filling a hot dog bun with something, or God knows what. Oh man, I mean, it goes from Epicurean fare all the way down to crackers and cheese. So anyway, take care, guys. We'll see you later on, and I hope that maybe some of you can get together and come over to the Pavilion 1 there on the 7th of September. Anyway, 7-3 K4M punching the button.
He's planning ahead for damn sure. Whatever's going on. Oh, too wild. Too wild. Yeah, it is Wagner because it's German. The fact that he pronounced it that. I like how they sell me vintage clothing next to my FM transmitters. Like they can tell that I'm just a fucking fossil. You care about radio? What? Well, here you go. Here's a hand crank for a Model T. You also might want this. Oh, fun stuff. Yeah. Maybe a little pedantic, but... Alright, let's scan around. I think that chit-chat's died out. See who else is on. If anybody. The local machines get some good chit-chat. Actually, one of the most interesting times to get on is during a snowstorm overnight. Because a shitload of the Denver plow drivers have their ham license. So they just get on like 2:30, 3 in the morning, you know, when they're warming the trucks up and hanging out. And they'll just chat all night long. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that for sure. Making it a point to remind like everybody that that's the good the old Prussian fashy music. Yeah, a little bit of pretense. Let me take a look. Is there any activity? Ooh, there's some activity on 6 meters here. This is basically my homepage in the summertime. A little bit of juice there. Tell you what, I'm going to switch antennas and we're going to go up to 6 meters. See if we can make any contacts. Stand by, because I got to fiddle with the cables behind me. Isn't it horrible? Pisses me off so bad, yeah. Oops, I just doxed myself on stream. Oh well. Not like you don't see my call sign 20 times a session. But yeah, he cries about that. And like, it's... Really just annoying ads too. CenturyLink, King Supers, and they got me targeted. Here's some better internet. Here's King Supers. Okay, enough of that. Anyways, yeah, I've got that ad block to shit, and I keep trying to block this particular bit, but I don't care that much. So, anyways, we're gonna switch up to 6 meters here and change software by slow scan. There ain't shit going on. Haven't had any meteor scatter contacts yet, but I did contact somebody on FT8, which is the most popular digital mode these days. Yesterday, talked to a guy up in Portland area. Yeah, the touchscreen's so good. It's so much better than, well, I won't say it's strictly better than spinning a knob, but the ability to just paw at this thing, it's really good. I mean, you can just change the filters there, change the modes. Yeah, it's good. The knob on this is great. So it's very smooth, very nice. Very good, very nice. And it has an adjustable drag control. There's a little lever down here, and it has different click settings, and each click is like more or less tense. So you can like crank down way heavy. Like, say if you like installed this in a vehicle, you know, there's a lot of vibration and bumps and stuff. You turn the drag way up so it doesn't like spontaneously turn on you. And then when you're hanging out at home, you can turn it down so it's like super buttery smooth. It doesn't have quite the like old school mechanical feel of some of my other knobs, but it's definitely up there. And the adjustable drag on the lever is really nice. All my older radios, they have a drag control for that tuning knob, but you have to like turn a little screw with a screwdriver on the bottom of the radio. Kind of a pain in the ass. So you can't fiddle with it as much as this. But this has one too here. There's a little lever on my little ICOM 703. There's a little lever here on the side that's like super stiff. I can flip the lever up and it just spins. So pretty much a standard feature of all like nice high dollar radios these days. One of them out there has software controlled clicks. So you'll get you know, clicks for like channels or whatever, so it's the same distance every time, and then you can just hit a button and you like there's a little solenoid or something in there that pulls back and it just turns it into a free spinning dial. That's a really cool feature. Anyways, let me get my fancy software here. This is WSJT. It has 2 windows, so I've got to do a thingamabob here. And I think it's doing that thing again where it's listening to my voice. Yeah, it is. So let's fix that. Yeah, got to switch sound cards. Much better. Oh, it's because I got the filter crank down. There we go. You want a wide filter for this, actually, because the software actually does all the filtering in this mode, so you don't need the radio filters, and people will transmit all along the spectrum here. You want to be able to grab as many different people as possible, so do a quick test here.
For a radio check, you're audible, but definitely a little scratchy, a little bit of static there, but I could copy you. K0CAD.
So let's see, right now I'm pointing at about 312 degrees. Turn it down, we'll just go 90. Let's let that turn. There we go. Even better. So yeah, right now, it's just white noise. We're going to see if we can summon somebody. Yeah, actually one fun thing is on the 6-meter repeaters, every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. local, they have a just a little net. That's awesome. They don't understand how important it is. Man, I could rig up like a knob testing thing. Hey Rampage, thanks for the follow. We play here Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Oh yeah, the 6-meter repeaters. There's a net every Sunday morning at 10 that I actually try to make, and it's just like 6 or 7 dudes, and they love their 6-meter repeaters, and they work very well here. That band for local coverage is actually really good in like foothill and mountain type areas, because it'll kind of curve around mountain tops and stuff like that, and it'll bounce around a little bit so you can get signal like where you otherwise couldn't. Like all the small towns up like in the hills, you know, Nederland and Idaho Springs and all those types of areas, they all use low band VHF for their police and their fire radios, because if you use like the shorter wavelengths, you know, VHF, UHF, stuff like that, way up there, like we use, down here on the flats, it just gets blocked by a hilltop or whatever. Whereas if you're on like, 40, 45, 50 megahertz, that'll bounce around a little bit and curve a little bit and get knife edge refracted and stuff like that. And you get much better coverage in kind of those mountainous areas. It's really interesting. So, all right, let me see here. We're going to hang out. You ready for one hell of a throwback Windows app? This is Ping Jockey Client. So Ping Jockey is a website where all the hands that like to play with meteor scatter hang out. They're called Ping Jockeys. Yeah, welcome to 1997. So this is a thick client that is basically a web scraper for a CGI forms-based chat room. Here's the actual chat room that it's pulling data from. Amazing, is like holy shit. So this is a actual Windows program that just basically scrapes that. There's not too much activity today right now. Yeah, isn't it great? Yeah, it's a scraper for this website. Just enter your message here. You have to log in and all that. So yeah, this is where all the old operators with 1,000 watts of power on 6 meters and huge antennas up in the sky, this channel, this room at like 5 a.m. local time is fucking lit. Like there's all sorts of contacts being coordinated here and stuff like that. Right now it's super dead because this is the worst time of day for meteors. Early morning is the best time because of the way that the Earth rotates through the solar wind. In the early morning, the solar wind ends up accelerating meteors through our upper atmosphere. And when they come in faster, they have a better chance of making like an ionized trail that you can actually bounce signals off of. But we get enough meteors every single day of the year, or like every single night, I guess is more accurate, that you can contact stations using meteor scatter 365 nights a year. It's very easy during a shower, like dumb easy, and you can do it like all day long. But even just like when there's no showers running, you can just hop on at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and make like 10 contacts a night. It's really cool. So that's a chat room where a lot of the 6-meter like kind of activity is conducted and kind of coordinated. People say, hey, I'm listening, now I'm calling on this frequency. That's what all the CQ first and CQ second stuff is. So I figured I'd just fire it up, because it's also somewhat used for this mode that I'm using right now, which is FT8. So we're gonna see here. I haven't seen anybody, so I'm definitely not going to be interfering. We're going to just set this thing to go. And since I'm pointing east, how it works is like even first means that you transmit on the 0 seconds and the 30 seconds. Transmissions last 15 seconds. If this is unchecked, you transmit on 15 and 45. So we're going to just start calling CQ, and maybe we'll get a contact off of that propagation, because I'm looking straight east here. So in theory, if there's some propagation that caused this to happen, I might be able to bounce my signal off of it and get somebody on the East Coast. So we'll see what we can see. This is very passive. You just kind of let it go. But this is really what I go for. Like, I absolutely love working 6 meters. It's my favorite band. It does weird shit. It's super dead, and then all of a sudden it opens up, and there's just hundreds of stations just all over the place. And we're coming into the season where 6 meters gets super hot, super active. So you'll be seeing a lot of it on the stream. Not much else going on the local 2-meter repeaters that we were listening to earlier. They're all talked out. I'm glad we grabbed that little chit chat though. That was fun. I was just about to say, if you want, I can throw it up. So here's just the receive white noise here. Key up in just a second. It's just a very slightly varying pitch. It's about 50 hertz wide. That's all. Actually, if I go way low in frequency, yeah, I'm gonna do a transmission down low, because you can more clearly hear the you can hear the differences in the tones, but there's not much separation between them. But yeah, that sends 13 characters in about 15 seconds. There's a special varicode and stuff like that. It's super optimized. So yeah, that's FT8. I'll go back up a little bit higher though. Sometimes, because the radios, like, they don't have a flat response curve. So like way down low on the bass end, you may not get good output power from a particular transmission. Whereas if you're around, 900,000, 1500 hertz, generally they have most output power in that region. Yep, that's about right. And this is one of those interesting modes that requires clock sync. So you can be off by a little bit, up to, I'd say, half a second. But if your PC clock is off by like 3 or 4 seconds, you'll never be able to to like decode anything, and nobody will be able to decode you. So we run clock sync programs. I use Dimension 4 because Windows NTP, like the built-in NTP sync, sucks so bad. This locks it down, and it goes every half hour. It does a resync. You can tell here that I last synced about a half hour ago. We're actually going to sync again here in just a minute. We'll watch it chug and do its thing. And I was only 176 milliseconds off last time, but that's how bad Windows drifts. It's really, really bad. Like, these computers cannot keep time. It's extremely important for these modes that you be locked down as tight as you can. I'm just curious how far off I am here. Yeah, it is horrible. It's really horrible. Yeah, there's a history. Every sync, plus or minus. Windows is terrible at keeping time. There we go. Yeah, I was 215 milliseconds off there. So in a half hour, it drifted 215 milliseconds. Which is why we run Dimension 4. I had serious problems when I was getting this shit set up, and I was like, why can I not talk to anybody? Why can I not get any contacts? And somebody was like, you running a third-party clock sync? I was like, no, Windows has one built in. And they're like, oh, ho, 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 let me tell you, buddy. And that's when I learned that Windows is horrible at timekeeping. Don't use it for anything serious. Linux is pretty tight. Oh, wow, that's amazing. I just got a voicemail. Hang on, I'm gonna mute myself and we're gonna just keep cranking it out. Yeah, I don't speak Chinese. Those are starting to show up more. I've thought about setting an Asterisk system up. I like messing with phones. I would never do it for a job, but as long as I'm just setting it up for like a personal fuck around network, I'm all about it. It's fun times. I have a, I still have the SD card around here somewhere. There's a system called All-Star. Basically, it is an Asterisk install that's tuned and tweaked to hook up to a radio. So it has like audio in and out, and then like a push-to-talk logic line to key up the radio and send audio out through it. And you can do all kinds of neat things with it. You can hook it up to like kind of this internet-linked network where you can talk to other people. You know, like it's hooked up to a radio, and the far side is hooked up to a radio. So whenever somebody transmits over there, the far radio picks it up, sends it over the audio trunk over the internet, and then retransmits it through your local radio. So you can have like a worldwide or nationwide, whatever, linked network. So I set that up and it worked great. And I was like, but I like just playing with phones too. So I set up another like box with just stock Asterisk, and I hooked those two together, and then got like a couple just like SIP phones in my house. And then I figured out like a bunch of cool tricks. Like I like obviously just used it for dial tone. I bought like a DID trunk and stuff like that. And so I had a phone line in the house. But also I figured out how to basically pick up the phone handset, dial like #6 or something like that, and then it would connect to my radio. So I could just hang out with a phone handset or a nice speakerphone or whatever and play radio from across the house. And it just uses like the star key for push to talk. You just tap it, go into transmit, you tap it again, and it goes into receive. And because Asterisk has a DTMF filter on it, the far end never hears the touch tones for control. It's kind of slick, actually. But the radio install I had set up, I figured out how to generate slow scan TV audio offline. So I had this thing set up to where it would download weather maps or cat pictures, which is what I originally tested with. And then with like a handheld radio, like in the region, you could just key up and hit like #27 or something like that. And this thing would basically go real quick, take that JPEG or whatever, encode it into slow scan TV, and then transmit it back out the radio with it only took like a half second. It was really fast. So it's basically cat pics and weather maps on demand via slow scan TV on 2 meters. It was super slick. It was a lot of fun. And then back over on the phone side, I figured out how to hook a shoutcast stream into an extension to where if you dialed the extension, I would load up the shoutcast stream and just start playing the audio. So you could dial like #420 for dial a reggae, so on, #666 for a metal stream. That obviously couldn't go over the radio side on air, but I did offer a service there for a while. If you wanted to listen to some reggae, you could just call my number and then hit #420. Stupid computer tricks. Alright, well, we didn't get anybody. Let's see if anybody heard us, though. Ooh, these guys are talked from across Lake Michigan there. Ooh, thank you. That's very cool. I'm gonna bookmark that. That's fucking cool. Nice. Love playing with phones. It's all boring now. You can't do anything cool with them. Alright, so a bunch of people in Denver heard me. Woo. Yeah, I mean, look at this stream. The very nature of this stream is stupid technology tricks. So all the dots are stations that are listening on 6 meters. Most of them are on 50.313. 314 also counts. They're just tuned off by a little bit, but they would also hear me. But yes, there's no propagation, so all the locals are getting me just fine. Actually extremely loudly. But nobody else picked me up, so looks like that little spot there was a one-off, and I'm not able to get anybody off that little spike of sporadic E propagation mirror. It's okay. Another couple weeks and it'll be way hot. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, if I ever get the phone system set up again here in the house, I will definitely have at least one analog butt set. Yeah, I remember those sets. Fill them up with D batteries. Yup. Ugh, I want one of these things. They're so good. Just curious. Let's buy a radio on the stream live. Oh yeah, this pisses me off too. There's somebody over in Japan that is just hoarding ham rigs. This is like literally 200% of like US market price. but they always have every radio you want. You're just gonna pay. Yeah, that's way too much for that, dude. Sorry. $700-800, absolutely, but not 1,500. This is cool. So this is a transverter. So this can go with any radio, but it's meant to go with that big FT1000. And this converts your RF both in and out to the 6 meter band, because that radio doesn't cover 6 meters. So this lets you get on 6 meters. Very rare piece of gear. Probably worth $600, honestly. Very well built. Cool shit. Transverters are pretty neat. You can... There's a guy over in the Ukraine that... yeah, here's an old Kenwood one that's meant to get you on the 2 meter band. Still useful. You could use this to get on single sideband up on the 2 meter band. Very, very interesting piece of gear there. Several companies have made them, but there's this guy in the Ukraine, just makes these little things. He's got a circuit that he's built up and designed, and he basically mass produces these. This price is insanely cheap. Any other manufacturer would have this thing for about $400 new, and he's selling them for like $105 shipped. Really cool. You just hook this up to a 10 meter radio, any little shitty shortwave rig you have around, and you can get on the higher bands with it. Very neat little units. Thought about buying a couple to screw around with, because I do have a 10 meter radio. This little guy right here. It's an old Radio Shack HTX10. Don't have it hooked up right now, but actually works great when the band is open. There's not much activity on 10 meters, though. So if I got one or a couple of those transverters, I could put that radio to pretty good use, actually. Been thinking about it. Be a fun project, because he sells these in kit form, too. Yeah. That would be a fun little thing to put together. And he actually, he basically, to dodge tariffs, he just doesn't assemble them. He still solders that board up for you. So all the hard work is done. You just put the connectors on and connect the little power leads and stuff like that. Yeah, it's horrible. Like, Windows is so dog shit at keeping time. Like, I wonder how many problems that people just don't know about in, like, enterprise fields. Regarding, like, you know, like, I used to have to manage a... Oh, God. Okay, so back in my last job, yeah, it might be rounding errors. Back in my last job, I was the AWS guy. And they had this software, this fucking ETL software. It's called Click, and it's horrible, and it requires like the biggest Windows boxes you can possibly throw at it. It's so slow, so inefficient, and so bad. And they wanted to put it in the cloud, so I had to figure out, and it literally took me 3 months to get this configured and set up, how to get that software running on AWS instances running Windows Server 2012. And they wanted a cluster of them. So I had 4 machines spun up. The biggest, like the literal biggest general computing, so like not GPU or whatever, the biggest general processing instances that you could possibly buy from AWS. We had 4 of them running. Each one of them cost $12.60 an hour to run. They were spending $48 an hour. $1,200 a day, $35,000 or whatever, $32,000 a month to run that software just to AWS. No comment. So yeah, I had to manage that, and just thinking back now that I know what I do about Windows' horrible time sync, I wonder how many DB entries in there were just fucked because they were all like a couple seconds off, and none of the stats were actually accurate. Because it was, I mean, it was ingesting a bunch of data. Like all of our like customers basically shoved all their data through Click. So I suspect that there's just a lot of just fuzziness on all the stats and graphs and stuff like that. You know, what if something comes in at 59 minutes and 58 seconds past the hour, but your clock's 3 seconds off, and it shows up in the wrong hour on the bar graph. Stuff like that. Multiply that by like, several 100,000 transactions a day. Yeah, damn. Time's important, y'all. Keep your clock synced. All right. I'm going to shit a little bit more RF out here. Let's go again. Right on. Yeah, I'm going to probably wrap it up in about 20 or 30 minutes. I'm just hanging out and chilling today. The bands are quiet. I was really digging the rag chew on 2 meters earlier. So we'll see you next sesh, Burge. Take it easy. Ooh, there's a dude on N0PSJ. Not familiar with them.
Good afternoon. The time is 5 o'clock p.m.
Do you love the shitty little robo-talkers? We should get some more here. Again, all their clocks are a couple minutes off, so. Got a good 105, 110 watts of power going out. Heating it up. Man, I forgot how much I love ginger ale. Especially when I'm not feeling well. Might have to get up on that emergency or something like that. Take some sinus meds later. We'll see. See if anybody's spotting me. Schweppes is pretty good too. I feel that. Yeah, we used to drink Hawaiian Punch when we were sick and kids. I don't know why that was a Midwest mom thing, but she'd always buy me Hawaiian Punch when I was sick and feeling like crap. Never quite got it, but now I can't drink it without feeling like I had the flu or whatever. Right? Not a fan. Don't tell me you don't know what Hawaiian Punch is. The stuff? Yeah. I mean, it's just like the crappiest little sugar water thing. It's meant for like literal toddlers. Might make a good mixer with rum, I'd guess. Oh, okay, yeah. No, that was our sick drink when we were kids. Don't know why. But I remember like my grandma was on that tip too. So it might have just been more of a family thing. Maybe we were all just collectively lead poisoned from the mines or something. Who knows? Yeah, ginger ale is it. It's good stuff. Oh, Pedialyte for hangovers, huh? Got me a bottle of grape right here. One of my work buddies stayed here a couple months ago, and she was like, dude, I feel like shit. We drank too much. I need Pedialyte. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. So we ran down and got Like there's like a 2-for-1 special, so I got one. Fortunately, I haven't had to use it yet. I don't know if it's still good or not. Everclear and Hawaiian Punch. I mean, that's cutting to the chase. Yeah, that gets the job done for fucking sure. I think Mountain Dew Code Red is an excellent mixer for rum. That's my controversial take. I think it's really, really good for that. Regular Mountain Dew for whiskey. And if that sounds strange, you may not know that Mountain Dew was actually formulated as a mixer for cheap, like hillbilly bourbon and whiskey back in the day. So yeah, regular Mountain Dew for whiskey and Code Red for rum. I think it works.
W0TX. It is 6 o'clock p.m.
Not only is it 4 minutes off, but his time zone is wrong. These are all like standalone repeaters up on the mountain. They just have basically like an internal battery, but like backup clock. They don't have like internet link or anything. So that's why the clocks are so massively off on all the repeaters. I don't even know why they call out the time, because they drift like 2 minutes a month. See if anybody spotted me. So sad. No propagation, and here comes the gray line coming in. Doesn't really mean too much on this band. Well, other than there definitely won't be any hot action once we're past sunset. But that's still a few hours out. But it does mean that the shortwave bands will fire up a little bit later on after the stream. Or different bands fire up. Right now, the sunlit area has good coverage on 20 meters, or on 14 megahertz. And right around the gray line, the best performance is 40 meters, which is half the frequency. They could sync with WWVB. Oh, speaking of which, thank you for mentioning that. So, yes, enough bullshitting about propagation. WWV, if you don't know, that's the government-run time station. It's a very accurate clock that does the tick-tick-tick type thing that you can tune into. Their 100th anniversary celebration is this year, in September, at the end of September. My birthday is at the end of September. So they published a call for any operators, because they have a special event station that they have a call sign for, and they're going to be running contacts on the ham bands just as kind of a commemorative thing to celebrate 100 years of standardized time being transmitted in the US via WWV. The call sign for the ham station is going to be WW0WWV, which is freaking amazing. I love it. But they're going to be running a ham station pretty much 24/7 for about 4 or 5 days. So they need like probably a dozen or two people to take shifts, basically. And you get to sit down behind the station, not the actual transmitters that they use for the time signals, but the ham station that they're going to set up on the side, and like get to make contacts with hams all over the country and or world using WW0WWV as your call sign. That's how it works. So they published a page this week calling for people to sign up to be operators. And they say they still need several more. So I literally wrote this big essay about how much I love WWV, how much I would love to pick it, and because that's the weekend of my 40th birthday, it would mean so much to me, yada, yada, yada. I told the story about like my dad setting his watch to WWV every Sunday night. Haven't heard back yet, but I hope I get picked. If I do, for my shift, which will be like a 3 or 6 hour shift, I'm actually going to burn LTE if they don't have Wi-Fi there, and we're going to get a camera set up, and we're going to do a live stream here on the Zcast from the WWV transmitter headquarters while I operate and I talk to hams all over the country. So I'm really hopeful that they pick me for it, for one of their shifts, Don't care when it is. I'll take off work. I mean, it's in Fort Collins, so it's like 55 or 60 miles away. It's no big deal. Yeah, it'd be really, really fun, and it would mean a lot for like my 40th birthday to be able to go, operate the special event ham station for the one shortwave transmitter that we have still in the U.S. that's not a religious station. It's the only thing left. And they're talking about defunding it too in the next few years. So I'd like to get my shot in, you know what I mean? I hope they don't. If they shut those stations down, like all those atomic clocks that you can buy for like 40 or 50 bucks, whatever, those sync to WWVB, which is a super low frequency signal that they have huge antennas for. The signal is very stable. It doesn't bounce off the sky or anything like that. It just travels along the ground. But because it's such low frequency, it can cover pretty much the entire nation.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, they're talking about it too. Like they had to like emergency get like $5 million of funding to keep those stations on for another year or two. So the immediate danger is gone, but they're still talking about it. And I'm just like, you don't want to do this, y'all. It would be such a bad idea. So want to try to get in on the window and operate a little bit at the ham station. But WWV is fucking cool. Like they have like 3 separate clocks and they do like a majority report type thing to keep them all standardized, like definite atomic clocks. This is the transmitter for the 20 megahertz signal, old ass Collins commercial transmitter. Oh, so dank. But yeah, different generations of their setup. Here's the transmitter site. I mean, it's hard to see scale, but I mean that's a 2-lane road down there. You can tell there's a lot of towers there. And specifically WWVB that's a terrible picture, but that's a little better. Hey Bobby, how's it going? Thanks for popping in and saying hi. So this is the transmitter for WWVB and its antenna. These towers don't do anything but structurally support things. The antenna is actually this vertical wire and these horizontal wires here. They have a special matching circuit to allow them to use this at 60 kilohertz. So it's 10 times longer wavelength than the lowest frequency on your AM dial. And that's already like a mile or something like that. But this works very, very well. So like every atomic clock that you can buy from Walmart or Amazon or whatever that automatically sets itself, it's listening to the signal transmitted by this station right here. So very excited. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, and you can pick it up with very modest gear. Like this just shits out time signals on a little serial bus, and it just has a little AM ferrite antenna there because the signal is so strong. Basically the reason that it's such a low frequency is because the signal doesn't really fade off. Like it does, but much more slowly per mile, say, than like a higher frequency signal. So it's worth the engineering challenge to have that enormous transmitter going on because you can consistently cover the entire country with a very slow data rate signal. And actually, I bet we can tune into it. Let's divert just a little bit. This would be a cool thing to wrap up on. I think I'm gonna chill after this because I'm getting a little winded. I can tell that I'm not in total fighting trim. Hey, defense. Because it would get defunded because the assholes in power in government right now. They just want to defund everything. WWV is on the chopping block. And they don't use it, right? It's not like their planes use it. Everybody's saying just use GPS as a clock. Yeah, deregulation, austerity, all that stuff. So let's tune down and see if my little shortwave antenna, this will be the 140-foot dipole. What's up, defense? Let's see if that'll pick up. Oh, I didn't want that. Yeah, it's stupid and it's horrible and it's reckless and short-sighted. Let's go to 100 kilohertz and then go to CW mode. I don't even know what that is. We're going to tune down. We're going to look at 60 kilohertz. You can just barely hear it because my antenna is very inefficient on these frequencies. Actually, one of these little ferrite bars would like work way better than my big wire here, but it's the best that I have set up right now. But that little tone is WWVB and it has a low bit rate, like very low bit rate data, like this weird protocol that they figured out. Yeah, here it is. Basically short and long pulses of this signal, do like a binary encoding of the current time. There's all kinds of like different offsets and stuff that they can do. They can say how far into a leap second you are, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So WWVB is a very fascinating technological thing. And they're trying to shut it down, which is stupid, stupid, stupid. So, yeah, with any luck, I should get picked for that special event station, and then we'll have a fun stream sesh up there. And I love Fort Collins, anyways. It's cool. It's like a college town, 100,000 people, something like that. Very cool vibes. Lots of good beer. It's pretty too. I don't go north much. I go south a lot. I go to Colorado Springs pretty regularly, you know, Albuquerque and stuff. But I haven't spent, like, I've gone to Fort Collins once and I like loved it, and then I haven't been back. So I need to revisit.
AB0ZY, radio check.
It works. KB0VJJ, I think that was.
This is the Colorado connection.
Yeah, here's all the auto repeat IDs getting on. Anything good on Craigslist? Nothing good on Craigslist. Nope, nothing new. Alright, well the bands are quiet. I'm getting a little peaked here. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the session. Sorry for the latecomers that were bailing on you, but I'm a little under the weather today because of the like 40-degree temperature change and snowstorm followed by intense sunshine. So I'm a little wiped, but I had a great time today, and it's good to hang out with everybody. And again, sorry about missing Thursday. Work was hell. We're gonna have less hell next week, so we'll stick to the schedule. So next sesh will be Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That's Wednesday at 0100 UTC. If you don't know how to convert UTC to local, find out, because in the world of radio, that's what we live off of. So thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. I'm gonna go ahead and take a break for a couple days, obviously. Actually gonna literally go take a nap here. And then we'll be back in a couple days and have more radio fun. If the gods smile, I'll have that ICOM 9700 in. Hammer Outlet still has me by the balls on that. So should have another unboxing soon, but I'm just playing waiting game now. So everybody take it easy. We'll catch you in a couple days. Be good, take care, and Keep the soldering iron hot. Have a good one. Bye.